So it's a new year and we're still in lockdown. That's why I'm sitting here, because Cherry is hugging the office. But the upside is, we do have more time to play VR games. And this is why I wanted to make an updated list of the best games on the Oculus Quest store. Hi everyone, Kaz here. And I'm doing it a bit differently this time. Instead of naming my top 20, I wanted to suggest my favorite games in each genre to make it more diverse than the other lists out there. Sometimes it was hard to pick only one though, and then I will make another suggestion. But as always, timestamps are below, and if you'd like to see more videos about VR, then please subscribe to support us, and now join me beyond reality. If you're looking for adrenaline, then the obvious one is Superhot VR. But you heard that before, as it's on everyone's top list, and I don't disagree, but I want this list to be more varied, so my choice for action is Jurassic World Aftermath, where you have to hide from vicious raptors as you try to recover valuable information in an abandoned research facility on Isla Nublar. But it gets intense, as if you're caught, you're dead. So while you explore, solve light puzzles, you also need to distract the raptors or hide from them under the tables or in lockers. This one will get your heart pumping. Do keep in mind that the game is released in parts and the first part ends rather abruptly. It may be worth it to wait until the DLC releases later this year. Unfortunately, this wasn't communicated clearly, which caused some backlash from the community, but if you can look through that, it's a well-made and exciting game. But let's move on to Red Matter, an adventure game set in a dystopian Cold War on an alien planet. You are an agent and astronaut dispatched to investigate an abandoned research facility. The game is good at giving you goosebumps as the mystery story unfolds, but not only that, it also has fantastic puzzles and smoothly implemented game controls. And it's one of the best, if not the best, looking games on the Quest store. If you're looking for a more magical adventure though, then check out The Wizards, as it has you casting magic by memorizing hand gestures, and I think that's just so cool to do in VR. I think the next one is the most populated multiplayer games right now, Population 1. See what I did there? This is like Fortnite, but then in VR, and it's done well. It's a battle royale where you squad up with 3 people and you work together to try to become the last team standing. There are some cool mechanics in the game, as it features building, gliding and climbing anything you want. It does have a simple weapon handling system, but that does not make the game anything less addictive. However, if you're looking for a different team-based battle that's free, try out the thrilling zero-gravity disc throwing sports game Echo VR. If your heart needs some rest from all that action though, then VR is also a nice tool to create some art. Since this week Gravity Sketch is a great option as it went free. This is an intuitive 3D design app, and even if you're not good at drawing like me, it's still awesome to give it a try. And if you have a 3D printer, you can easily print out your design, which is pretty magical. But if you're looking to paint more, then try out Tilt Brush. Although it was just announced like today or yesterday that the Tilt Brush is now open source, so it could be that this app might be available for free in the future. I'll keep an eye out for you. On to my favorite dungeon crawler in VR, Until You Fall. A hack and slash roguelite in a beautiful neon world where you engage in satisfying melee battles with magic infused monsters. This is a fun dungeon crawler with character progression, and no crawl is the same as the levels are randomized. It's also a physically active game, so get ready for probably the most fun workout you ever had. Cheers. One of my favorite sagas is Star Wars, so when Vader Immortal came out, I immediately tried it, and I found it awesome as it includes some of the things any Star Wars fan would love. There is lightsaber combat, learning the Force, blaster action, and you will meet Darth Vader himself up close. There are 3 episodes of each about 30 to 45 minutes long. It may be a little short, but I think it's worth it, and since it's a story of its own, it's also enjoyable for those that don't know much about Star Wars. If you're looking for a different interactive story, then try out Accounting Plus. It's voiced by comedic legends like Justin Roiland, so get ready for darkish humor and characters that will try to annoy you as much as possible. The humor is definitely not for everyone, but I enjoyed it throughout. First-person shooters, then Onward and Contractors are not to be missed. Both are military simulators with realistic gunplay mechanics, customizable loadout systems, and multiple competitive online and offline game modes. In comparison, I think Onward has a steeper learning curve since it's a little bit more realistic and is best played with a team of people. I think Contractors is easier to get into, but both are solid games. I feel like hand tracking should be its own game genre for now, as there are not many games that support it, yet there is so much potential. I especially like the implementation in Vacation Simulator, as it was already a fun game to dive into. It's full of cute puzzles and it will give you a comedic vacation experience, which is a really nice thing in these times. Oculus's hand tracking feature is still experimental though, so it may not work as well, but still I think it's a lot of fun to try it out. Plus, if you don't like it, you can always switch back to the controllers. So I think this may be the most unique game on this list. This is The Under Percent. In this game, you can enjoy 3 game modes. First, there's an interactive story to watch. Second, there's an online multiplayer hub with pre-recorded performances to enjoy. And here, you may encounter real people, but since you cannot talk to each other, it's always a fun guessing game who is real or not. The last game mode is a limited timed event, live shows with real actors. You will need to buy a ticket, but this was one of the most fun things we did last year, so I'm hoping we'll see more of these. Talking about multiplayer, let's move on to social VR games. And well, usually 2 games will come into mind, Rec Room and VR Chat. But these games are also on everyone's list, and yes, I agree, you have to try them if you haven't yet. But I also got another suggestion for you. As the name gives it away, PokerStars VR is a game where you play poker, but then with the others online. It's super fun because you can handle the chips and cards like you would in real life. There are also interactive things to do, like props and toys to unlock and then summon on the table, which always makes it a funny thing. Then the core game is free as well, which is enough if you just want to enjoy a night of poker casually. When I say music rhythm game in VR, everyone knows Beat Saber, and yes, that is still my go-to rhythm game, but I got another suggestion, and that's Pistol Whip. I love Pistol Whip as it combines a cinematic bullet hell with EDM music, and it will give your legs a workout instead of just your arms, while you feel like the star of an action movie like John Wick. It's a unique game with epic soundtracks. But the music may not be everyone's thing, but I personally do love all the songs as it's a great match with the game's style. For those who own a VR-ready PC, I wanted to include Oculus Link as a separate category. Here, I'll let you know my 2 favorite PC VR games as many of you ask about them. First, it's Asgard's Wrath. This mythical Norse adventure gives a great sense of skill as you play from both a mortal's perspective on the ground and a god with a top-down view. Combine that with exciting melee combat and about 40 hours of story, it's just a game to lose yourself in. And to no surprise, probably Half-Life Alyx is my top favorite PC VR game. Never has a game left such a long-lasting impression, and still I sometimes enjoy diving back in and checking out the mods. I can't imagine you haven't tried it yet if you use Oculus Link, but if you haven't, you definitely should. The next game genre is maybe perfect for those in lockdown, but only if you have a big family. Aquan Attack of the Squirrels is a local multiplayer game where the VR player plays with up to 8 others on mobile phones. The VR player takes on the role of a large tree that possesses golden acorns. The other side, the mobile players, are the thieving squirrels who need to work together to steal the acorns. Whoever has the acorns when the time passes wins. It's such a fun party game, so if you can, try it out with friends or family. When I bought a VR headset, I didn't think platformer games would lend themselves so well to VR. Moss is such a game. Here you play from a first and third person perspective simultaneously. In third person you control a little mouse named Krill using traditional buttons. You also help out in first person by manipulating the environment and helping Krill get through or solving puzzles together. The developers did an amazing job building a bond that will make you do your ultra best not to hurt Krill. It is a pretty short game, but I think it's still worth it. And if you finished it and looking for more, Ghost Giant is also a charming platformer. Now, if you are a puzzler, then the newly released Myst will get you your fix. Myst is a franchise of adventure puzzle games with the first game released back in 1993. The developers reimagined the world for VR and they've done an incredible job. The game is set on an island where you have to solve challenging puzzles to unfold a mystery surrounding a family betrayal. It's a game solely focused on challenging puzzles and exploration, so you might get stuck if you're a newbie to the game, but if you're not scared of that, then you should not miss this one. And if you want a more casual puzzle game, I recommend checking out Down the Rabbit Hole as well. This is a short game set in the Alice in Wonderland universe, but so charming and enjoyable. Then, after a long workday, you may want to empty your mind. I think VR is perfect for relaxation and meditation. I have two favorite games here. One of them is Tetris Effect. Just check that out if you like Tetris. And another title you may not have heard of is Fuji, which is a musical gardening experience. Your task is to bring dormant landscapes back to life by restoring native flora through light, water, and harmony. It may sound vague, but it has a great sound design and user interaction that blend so well together to make this one of the best games to relax in. When I talk about RPGs, I want a character to level up, dress up, and adventure with. There's only one VR game that really has all of the MMORPG elements in there, and that's Orbis VR Reborn. It includes leveling up, classes, dungeons, raids, guilds, and even dragon pets. While it may not be the prettiest game, it did get Cherry and I really addicted to it. But I do recommend finding someone to play with, as I think the game thrives the most in multiplayer. If you don't have anyone to play with and still want a fun, light RPG, then I recommend Journey of the Gods. This is an epic quest against the forces of evil. You play as both the hero underground, but you can also turn in a god and use their powers. There is a variety of fun mechanics in here to make it one of my favorite quest games. If you're looking for something stealthy, there is no doubt Phantom Covert Ops is my go-to. In here, you are an elite covert operative who only has one night to prevent all-out war. The game sets itself apart from every game on this list with its unique locomotion. The whole game is played on a kayak, and to move around, you have to use your arms to paddle. Inside your kayak, you have the weapons and equipment needed to ambush enemies in combat or hide in reed and sneak around. I think the developers did a great job with the innovative locomotion, as it works so well in VR, making the whole experience very immersive. Okay, on to survival, and that's an easy one for me. This is The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners. I think this game has set the bar for all VR games with its incredibly polished physics-based zombie slaying action, but not only that, every design choice made in this game will make you feel like you really stepped into the Walking Dead apocalypse. Add in human enemies, side missions, and even disturbing choices to make that could change the story's course. I think this is one of Quest's most extensive games, and if you don't mind the scary aspect of it, I highly recommend it. Now, the last category I wanted to talk about isn't very standard, but I personally love manga and anime, so I wanted to talk about a visual novel that came out recently that could get you your manga fix. This is Alt Dies Beyond Chronos. It takes place 200 years in the future, where you play Lieutenant Chloe, a mecha pilot defending humankind against massive hostile organisms known as the Meteora. It is a visual novel, meaning you will be reading and listening a lot instead of doing. The interaction is minimal, it's more about the story and the choices you make. The game contains multiple unlockable endings, and it is advised not to stop playing after completing one run. Be warned that the graphics are not like a standard game. It is entirely in 360 VR, but not all elements are 3D, for example. Think of it as you've just entered a manga. So I don't think this is for everyone, but if you do enjoy anime, then with the 15 hours or so playtime, I do think it's worth checking out. Whew, at times, I have to say, it was really hard choosing just one favorite game in a genre, but I'm pretty satisfied with this list. I think if I had to choose one game to be my all-time favorite without including PC VR games, then I would say that's The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners. Even though it scared the balls out of me in some parts, I just could not get enough. So what is your all-time favorite Quest game so far? Let me know in the comments below, and maybe it will be included next time if it wasn't yet. Thanks for watching, and if you got some time left, watch some more for support. A special thanks go to our champions, especially these patrons down below, and as always, VR on.